It's Newcastle's Hit 106.9 with Nick, Jess and Ducko, and we were chatting about this briefly last week, the very, very exciting news. The Rugby World Cup coming down under, of course, the men's tournament in 2027, the next one they're having, and the women's happening in 2029, which we cannot wait for.
Seriously, I was talking to my husband about this because you know he's a big rugby union guy. Unfortunately, the back injury has taken him out of the playing arena. But we were talking about this over the week, and he goes, do you know how exciting this is for kids especially? Like, let's say you're 9 or 10 now.
Yeah.
You've got a couple of Olympics, you've got a couple of Commonwealth Games, and then the World Cup will be down under, and they could potentially be picked for the Wallabies or the Wallaroos.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so exciting.
It's really exciting for particularly, I think, young people in the sport. And speaking of young people in the sport, I mean, our next guest, she's only bloody 23, but she is making waves in this world. And I'm sure she is more excited than anyone about the news the World Cups are coming down under.
Oh, yeah.
It's Newey local, absolute legend, Layne Morgan, joins us this morning. Hey, Layne.
Hey, how you going?
We're so good. Can you confirm or deny you're super pumped at this news the World Cup is coming to Australia?
Yeah, super pumped. I was with all my family the other day talking about the games that just went past, and they were so excited, and they were like, we can actually finally watch you at home at a World Cup. How good.
How good. We don't have to travel overseas or whatever.
And the crowds will all be going for you.
Yeah.
Everyone will be cheering for the Aussies. Surely that's special.
Oh, so special. It'll be awesome having your home country behind you.
Mentally, does it change your preparation at all? Are you like staying at your parents' house or worried about what they'll think about your game, or are you just professional about it all?
Oh, look, it's always hard. You've always got your biggest critics there in your family. So we'll probably be all staying together, so it'll give that little bit of separation, but it'll just be so good having everyone there.
What do you think, Layne? I always love speaking to professional female athletes. I think the tide is slowly turning, and we are seeing a lot of work done in the space of making the sports, equal. There's still a long way to go, don't get me wrong. But I guess for you as a young female player, how are you? How's the vibe for you seeing this equality and this journey? And I guess what steps do you think we still need to take?
Look, it's amazing what's been happening with female sport and the word getting out there. I think it's really good. I think the biggest thing is just that advertisement and media of women in the sport, making sure that every girl knows that they can do it and they can play themselves. And it's never a bad thing to play like a girl. Like, that's always had that bad kind of scene behind it, but it's actually the best thing ever to play like a girl. If you can do it, go for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. I watched an amazing speech. This woman named Abby Wambach, she's like a professional soccer star over in the States, huge name. But she did this speech about, they've just started this league over there, and it's the team is owned by women. It's the first time the majority owners have been women. And she talked about a dad who had a little girl at the stadium, the first game or whatever. And the dad looked at Abby and said, thank you, because this is the only world my daughter will ever know. And it was this real moment for her being like, yeah, for all the trials and tribulations of current and past players, the path we pave is for the future generation. Layne, I'm sure even in your career, you've seen these leaps and bounds as well.
Yeah, definitely. We actually had some ex-players come into our last camp and talk to us about how they went through and their pathway that they paved for us. And it's just amazing, like, what women have gone through to do to be here. And it's still a work in progress, but gosh, the pathway is definitely there, and we just all need to get on board and keep striving.
Yeah, and of course, Layne, you played for the Hunter Juniors and Merriweather. You're a local here from Macquarie Hills. Do you get to come back to Newey much? Because you're only playing for the Tars, I'd imagine, in Sydney. So do you get to come back here much?
Yeah, look, I'm living in Newcastle, so I actually work at ASN and manage 2 stores here.
Oh, nice.
University here, so I'm traveling back and forth all the time, so I get to spend plenty of time here and lap up all the beaches. So
Wait. So you're playing for the Waratahs, you're managing 2 stores, and you're doing uni, and you're traveling back and forth.
And she's 23.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's going, but it's amazing.
It's incredible that you can even focus on the sport element.
So when do you sleep? When do you eat?
Oh,
when do you go on Instagram?
Yeah. There's not much time for it, but look, I love the sport, and this is the reality of a female sports player. Like, we still have to tick all these boxes to keep making a living, keep a backup plan for our future as well once sport runs out. So yeah, it's hard, it's tough, but you do it for the sport that you love.
Man.
Got
to get the money up in women's sport. Absolutely.
And you make a really great point there, isn't it? Like, she's a professional athlete, and then we just had to list 15 other dot points of what fills her day. So, for as far as we've come, still a little bit way to go. But with things like this, with the Rugby World Cup coming down under, 2029, it'll be in Australia for the women, 2027 for the men. But it's going to be awesome. Let's get behind them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to get you back on, Layne, right before you go over to New Zealand as well for the World Cup and follow your journey over there.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys. It's been awesome.
Layne Morgan, Newey local as well, plays for the Wallaroos, plays for the Women's Waratahs. Thanks so much for joining us and good luck with the prep.
Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for having me.